Hello and welcome to Anfield Index's first post-match reaction on YouTube. I'm Bocsak and I'm going to be taking you through my initial thoughts on this Arsenal game today. And I have to say I'm a little relieved because I thought we were going to be talking about a defeat, but in the end, a brilliant pass from Trent Alexander-Arnold managed to cut through Arsenal, and Darwin Núñez unselfishly squared the ball over to Mohamed Salah, who does what Mohamed Salah does, and scored, which means Liverpool have their first draw in the Premier League in the Arne Slot era. And it also means Manchester City are now top of Liverpool in first place, while Liverpool are in second with 1 point separating the two sides. But overall, I think this was quite a frustrating game to watch for me. Arsenal are a frustrating side to play against, very defensive, particularly after they took the lead. They sat back and really frustrated Liverpool. I don't think this was a good performance by Liverpool by any stretch of the imagination. Do I think Liverpool didn't deserve to draw? I don't agree with that. At the second half, Liverpool had twice as many shots as Arsenal. Pretty much controlled possession, especially up until scoring that goal. After the equaliser went in, Arsenal sort of took control tried to take control really. But in the end, I think in the second half, Liverpool still had 63% possession. I thought they deserved the draw. It would have been really unfair, I think, if Arsenal managed to get this victory, just because of how negative they played for most of the second half, really. It's hard to say much else, really, because I thought there was really frustrating moments in this game for Liverpool. I thought Arsenal definitely managed to control the midfield better. Alexis McAllister definitely struggled at times. I could understand why he was substituted. I can't even remember the last time Arne Slot made 3 changes all at once, or if he's ever made 3 changes all at once. But that pretty much summarizes how frustrated he was with his team as well. Andy Robertson, I didn't think he had a great game either. It was quite concerning, I think, at times in the first half, the way he was performing. Maybe he was a little bit better in the second half, but definitely deserved that substitution. So I think that's an area where Liverpool have to look at, because for me, Robertson has been disappointing for a lot of times this season, and obviously he's not getting any younger. I don't think Kostas Tsimikas can be a long-term replacement. There's definitely a few promising young players in the academy, especially on loan. Obviously, Luke Chambers has got a long-term injury at the moment, so he's back at Anfield, but he's done good stuff at Wigan. And Owen Back as well. He's doing very well at Blackburn, so potentially Arne Slot could take a look at them next season. But I do think that there is the need for Liverpool to bring in probably a long-term replacement for Robertson. I'm not sure if that is going to be Beck or Chambers. You always want to give young players a chance, but I think if you're looking at Robertson's caliber, he's probably been one of the best left backs in the world. You want to replace him with someone of the same caliber. If I was Liverpool, although this is probably very unrealistic, I'm a big fan of Alphonso Davies. I think I would really like to see him in this Arne Slot system, but I think that's very unrealistic, and I think it would be difficult to convince him to join the club, even though he is available as a free agent. The kind of wages that he would be asking for is probably more in the territory of a Real Madrid, who can't afford to do that. Whereas Liverpool have their wage structure and have their system in place, and I think Davies would probably fall out of that. But anyway, let's get back to the game. Kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some of the players who I thought stood out for me. I know this might be a little bit controversial, but I thought one of the best players for Liverpool is Ibrahima Konate. I know that was that very, very nervy moment in the first half, and it definitely looked like he could have given away a penalty for Liverpool, and it was a bit of a rash challenge, but I think he got away with that. Uh, Overall, though, the numbers really speak for themselves. He didn't lose a single duel in this game, only 3 duels, but won all of them. Made the most clearances and the most recoveries, and won 100% of his tackles. Just 2 attempted tackles, but he won both of them. I mean, what else can you ask for from a defender? That's pretty much perfect, apart from the 2 goals conceded. But I don't think he was at fault for either of them. It was one of those sort of set piece situations where he couldn't do much about it. But if you're looking at his numbers, really impressive. And I think that's been the theme for Konate throughout the season. He's been really, really good. So definitely wanted to mention him. Another one who I think deserves a mention is Darwin Núñez. He gets the assist, the decisive assist from Mohamed Salah. Actually, out of the players who played 90 minutes, he had the least touches on the pitch for Liverpool. Just 26 touches in the game, but he made those sort of touches count. I mean, he was joint top for completed dribbles, 2 out of 2 completed dribbles, alongside, I think, Bukayo Saka and Mohamed Salah. Created the most chances for Liverpool. He was the only player who created 2 chances in this match. So really, I think you've got to give credit to him, because if you're looking at where Liverpool's threat was coming from, there wasn't a lot of threat in the final third, I think, especially in the penalty area, because Arsenal restricted Liverpool really well in that midfield and defensively. But when Liverpool did have threat, Darwin Núñez was kind of at the centre of it. Obviously, we would like to see him get more touches. Arsenal definitely did a good job in terms of restricting those touches and restricting Liverpool. But still, when he had this opportunity, when he had the chance, he made that moment count. And I think in the end, that's what matters. And I'm sure that will give him a huge boost of confidence going into the season. I think he needed that moment. And I know it's not a goal. We would have liked to have seen him score as well. But just getting that assist, you saw how happy he was and the way he was celebrating. He was absolutely buzzing. So I really hope that gives him a bit of confidence, because we still don't know Diogo Jota's injury, the extent of it, the length of it. Obviously, Slot said he's not necessarily expecting him back next week, so we'll have to see. I mean, I think today's game kind of showed how Liverpool might even potentially be a little bit short of attacking options with Jota's injury. If we were sort of looking at the bench, obviously there was Gakpo on the bench, potentially Szoboszlai, but he doesn't really score a lot of goals for Liverpool. There weren't really any sort of game changers or match changers that Slot could sort of look to and bring on against Arsenal, and who you would sort of think, oh yeah, he's going to score a goal, he's going to make a difference. There was not really anyone there on the bench who could have done that, and that's why I'm still sort of very adamant that I think Liverpool need to bring in another number 9. The way Slot's system works, I think, could get counted in that position. Diogo Jota, we know, is very pro. Darwin Núñez is Darwin Núñez. You sort of never really fully know what you're going to get with him. So for me, I think, bringing in someone who can play that number 9 role, potentially playing even wing, someone like Omar Marsh, I think that's something that Liverpool should be exploring, and potentially even exploring as early as January. But again, back to the game, I think in the end, you take the point. It's a tough ground to go to. Arsenal have made it very difficult in the last couple of years under Mikel Arteta. They don't really tend to lose a lot of games there. And I think, Arteta before the game really hyped up the injury crisis. They still had a pretty strong side out. It can be argued, if anything, Arsenal's injury crisis was pretty much the same as Liverpool's. They had 2 key players missing. Liverpool had 2 key players missing, Jota and Alisson. So there wasn't much difference in the injury crisis. But definitely, I think that sort of helped. Arteta's words sort of helped motivate his players and the crowd as well. That they were sort of cheering them on, and under these sort of circumstances, I think you take the draw and you move on. It definitely means Liverpool remain in a great position going into the season. Manchester City are obviously now top with 1 point, but Liverpool have to face Man City and twice more this season, so they've got plenty of chances to sort of overcome that deficit. And right now, I think I'm definitely optimistic and encouraged by, especially I think, the way Liverpool persevered and made that moment count, because I think a lot of times under Jurgen Klopp last season, we saw Liverpool create a lot of chances and didn't necessarily grind out those results or make those moments count. They had to rely on very last minute goals or sort of moments that came out of nowhere. Right now, we're seeing more calculated Liverpool and more sort of methodical Liverpool. And I'm not saying the football is so far has been as entertaining as it has been under Jurgen Klopp, but the results definitely speak for themselves. And overall, I think you can't really complain. Liverpool managed to come back both times after going a goal down, and in the end, come away with a draw against probably one of their biggest title rivals. It means that they are still very much in the title race. Even if they lost that game, they would still be in the title race. But I think psychologically, this is an important draw, and getting that goal towards the end will be very important looking ahead for the rest of the season. So that's all from me. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for listening. And make sure to subscribe to the Anfield Index YouTube channel.